each other. Just a second, you guys. I gotta go check something and then I'll feed you. From time to time, people ask me how my good nature mouse and rat traps are working. And to be honest with you, during the summertime, I don't really make a big effort to trap and kill rodents because they're not really that big of a problem. When the weather is nice, they're out and about doing their thing. I'm sure the cat catches them once in a while, but as far as them being like in the shop or in the barn, places where I don't want them, it doesn't really happen that much. But the weather is starting to cool down, and the other day I noticed some fresh tracks up here on my messy shelf. Looks like there's also some up here on the air compressor, so I stuck a trap down here a couple days ago, and as you can see, it is doing its job. You gotta love it. 2 rats from the same trap. That is what is so nice about having a trap that automatically resets rather than train the other rats and teach them that that's a bad thing to get into. They go investigate it and, well, you see the results. Come here, you guys. Another question that people ask is, how's the dry pour slab holding up? And as you can see, it's still here. It hasn't split in half or anything like that. The finish quality is still, I mean, obviously not great, and it's gotten worse as they've been walking on and off of it. But it is doing its job, so I'll let you be the judge of whether or not this was a success. And it's kind of funny because I do still get comments on that video, and they basically fall into one of 2 categories. It's either somebody telling me how I did it wrong and that's why it didn't turn out right, or it's somebody telling me that I was an idiot for even trying to do such a ridiculous idea. But hey, that's life on YouTube. Somebody's always got a problem with what you're doing. I had somebody scold me for killing a black widow. Whoever it was that did that, boy, hope they don't see the beginning of this video. You guys are hungry, I know. Hey, turkeys. Yeah, the pigs might like these. Yeah, they probably still like it. There's a good one. To watch these pigs fight at the feeder and swarm on the pairs when I throw them in the pen there, some people might get the idea that I'm not feeding the pigs enough or that this feeder is not big enough for this number of pigs. And while I would like to put a bigger feeder in here, the fact is that this feeder is fine for this number of pigs. The main reason why I'm making a new one is because this one is falling apart, and if I'm gonna make a new one, then I may as well make a bigger one. But the way that I know that everyone's getting enough to eat and everything is fine is that I can come back out here in an hour and half or more of the pigs will be laying out in the sun, and there will still be feed left in the feeder that, you know, maybe 2 or 3 of them are picking at. What you're seeing here is the pigs react to when you feed them. It's kind of like if I had a feed trough that was 10 feet long and I dumped a bucket in there that spread all across that 10 feet, just the way pigs are, they would still fight to get that same bite of feed, even though there was plenty of room for all of them to fit in there. They're very competitive eaters, and that's just how they are. Got a little treat for these guys. Now let's see how nicely you share. Just got over here to the steer pasture, and somehow these guys are not where I left them. They're actually in the field that I was planning to move them into today, and I'm not sure how they got in here. So let's see if we can go figure this out. You guys knew today was the day and you just beat me to it, huh? All 7 of them are in here, so either somebody opened a gate and put them in here for some reason, or they broke through the fence. We'll figure it out. Well, I think we found the problem. Yeah. Kind of just looking at this, trying to piece together what probably happened. I suspect that 1 or 2 maybe started rubbing on this gate and flipped it over and got through. And the rest of them either went through the gate as well, or at least one got in a panic and didn't want to be left behind and crashed through the fence here. So we kind of got a mess here now. Some of you, I'm sure, are going to remember I've been knowing that this gate needs to be fixed for a while and just haven't gotten around to it. Well, this is why you don't put things off. Not as bad as it could have been, but now we've got a little bit more work to do. The issue with this gate is that the top hinge has somehow come unattached, and it's kind of a difficult thing for me to fix by myself. Or so I think. I've never actually tried. Today I'm gonna try. The problem is that this end of the gate needs to be picked up so that that hinge can line up, and it's just hard for me to be in two places at once and lift up this side and reattach the hinge on that side. But if I am a little bit smart with this, I think I can figure out a way to do it. Could we just hang it like this? Chain's holding it up off the ground now. Let's see how we look on the other side. Well, let's go up a little higher. That might be too high, but let's try it. Actually, that might be perfect. Okay, now this is the next problem. Let's see if this works. It is turning. Got the nut off. Now, what are the odds this gate's gonna slide down? Oh man, we might be closing in on success here. There. That's what you need to do. Ah! And just like that, we get it. Well, you know, this is better. It's still not great, but it's better than it was. The way that it is now probably would have prevented them from breaking through it. Now that they've done it once, who knows if they'll try to do it again. This will hopefully be fine until we get back to fix it right. No more trouble this week, you guys. We're back here at the ranch now, and I want to get my limping cow back in the chute. It's been a couple of days since I trimmed her hooves, and that hasn't really seemed to help her any. So today I brought with me some more stuff that I wish I would have had last time, so that I'm thinking I can actually tie that leg up and get a better look at that hoof to see if there is a rock or a nail or whatever might be stuck in there that's making her limp. Come on, dear. I know you don't like it. So it does kind of feel like she's got some junk up there in between her toes. I mean, it's normal for there to be mud and dirt up there, obviously, but I'm gonna try to flush out as much as I can, and I'll probably have to end up tying her foot to like really feel what's in there, but first step is getting it clean or getting all the loose stuff out of there that we can. Here comes the water. Hold it right there. That'd be perfect. The good news is I've got her foot right where I want it. The bad news is I didn't really think this through. I got nowhere to tie the end of this. Okay, we'll figure something out here.
hoof rot. Please don't kick me. There's something going on in there. Flossing yet a little bit. Yeah, the camera probably won't see it, but there is a little bit of blood right here. I'm thinking now, initially I was wrong and this is hoof rot. It's kind of what this is looking like. It does not smell though, which is odd. So I'm gonna put some copper tox on her foot and then I think we can turn her loose again. Put this right where it needs to go. I've got copper tox on my rag here and I'm gonna floss it in there so we really get this medicine where we need it. Sure. That ought to get it. So bad. So I feel like I need to kind of like recap here what all just happened. When I'm doing something like that and filming it, a lot of times what happens is I get so focused on what I'm doing that sometimes I forget to turn on the camera, sometimes I forget to explain what's going on, and then when I go back and edit it, I think, man, I wish that, you know, I would have done this, that, or the other. After getting the cow in the chute and getting that foot tied up and cleaned out, I was able to peek under there and actually see down between her toes. And what I saw was what looked to me or presented itself exactly like hoof rot. Now, as I mentioned, I think there's no odor here, which is odd. Usually hoof rot you can smell, but this, you know, maybe it just hadn't had the chance to get far enough along to where it did start smelling. I'm not really sure. What's going on over here? Oh, you're scared of me now? I can't believe it. Generally, the way that you treat hoof rot is with copper tox and then maybe an antibiotic as well. And another thing that people do, which you saw me do this time, is they will take like a rope or some twine or something and kind of floss that hoof essentially. And what you're doing is you're kind of like scraping the dead tissue out of there. I know it's a little gross, but it does help them heal a little bit faster, and it helps that medicine get to where it needs to go. Are you looking for camera time or what? Huh? Are you? All right. So I guess the lesson learned here today is next time I've got one limping like that, even if I think I know what the problem is, it's probably worth the extra time and effort to tie that foot up and get a good look in there and verify what's really going on. The first time I had her in the chute, I didn't have any of my straps or anything to safely tie that leg up. But still, in hindsight, it would have been worth the time to run back home and get that stuff and just leave her in the tub. She would have been fine in here for 10 minutes, you know, until I could get back. So anyway, live and learn. The cattle are going to be up here in this front pasture for 3 more days before I move them down to the back, where it would then be hard to gather her up and doctor her again. So we'll recheck her progress before I send them down there. If she's still limping, then I'll probably give her another shot of copper tox, but hopefully she is showing some improvement by then. So we'll be keeping an eye on old number 19, but I gotta be honest with you, I feel a lot more confident about the treatment that she got today versus what she got a couple days ago. You might notice things are starting to look a little different around here. My neighbor that pretty much owns all of the land that you can see around us started harvesting his rice yesterday, And I know I've mentioned in the last few videos that it's starting to feel like fall. Well, when you start to see the first rice fields getting cut, then it really starts to feel like fall. A lot of people don't realize that California is a big rice producer. In fact, it is the #2 state when it comes to rice production in the United States. The only state producing more rice than us is Arkansas, and they produce a lot more than us. They produce about 50% of what the country produces, and California at #2 produces around 20%. Rice production in California pretty much happens all in the same place. Where I'm at would be like the southern end of rice country. It goes about from the north side of Sacramento all the way to around Chico, Red Bluff area. And while Arkansas may outproduce us by quite a bit here, just ask any rice farmer around here. The quality of California rice far surpasses what they're making out there. My source for that information might be a little biased, but he seemed pretty confident when he told me. In the United States, I think there's only 5 states that produce rice. Like I said before, Arkansas is the #1 rice state, California is #2. Those 2 states alone are already producing 70% of the United States rice crop. The other states growing rice are Missouri, Texas, and Mississippi, I think. That's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.